Hello there, guys. This is ArkthePieKing, and what I've got with me today is a new arcade game that I recently discovered. This is actually my second attempt at recording it. First time, the recording lost sound about 5 minutes into it, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty heartbroken, but we're gonna take another shot at this. When I first discovered this, I just kind of decided to play it because the name was so silly. As you can see, it's Monster Maulers, and I was like, oh man, this game's gonna be terrible, let's see how bad it is, and I ended up really liking it a lot. Case in point, this is gonna be the third time in 3 days that I've played through it. First time was just for fun, second time was my recording attempt, and this will be my second attempt at recording it, as I mentioned. Alright, well, let's get into it. It's got a premise similar to King of the Monsters 2, in that you pick one of 3 characters and then you fight, like, really epic boss-style monsters back to back. It doesn't have the side-scrolling beat-em-up, like, sections of stages like King of the Monsters 2 did, but it's still really good. I really like it a lot. At the beginning, you can pick your first, you can pick your stage. I'm going to be going with the default first stage because I just like starting there. And we're also going to be playing all the characters at least once, and then I'm going to go back to my favorite character, and it should be pretty obvious which one that is without me even having to say anything. But let's go ahead and get started. And you. Start with Kotetsu. Like I said, I just like starting with the default starter stage, which is Brainy. He's got 2 forms, the serpent form first, which is really easy, and then his true form, which is the actual Brainy form. I deserved that. I deserved that too. Man, I am doing really poorly against him today. I usually have no problems with Brainy. This is embarrassing. And I don't know if you can hear my cat in the background, but she's pitching a fit right now. Most of the later stages are a little bit harder than this one. I'm really sorry about the cat if you can hear that. Frankie, honey, be quiet. Sorry about that. She's the most vocal cat that I've ever met. She talks to me all the time. She's usually pretty good about leaving me alone when I'm recording, actually, but right now she wants something. Alright, we're moving on to Maui. This is actually the other 2-part stage, and once again, I actually just really love both parts. The music in this game is really good. Moves like a character from Dive Kick. Kotetsu for Dive Kick 2015. Alright, we're moving on to the main boss, Maui. Every character has 2 special attacks. Kotetsu has that drill attack and, of course, the fireball, which you've seen. He can fire in 3 directions, and for some reason I cannot get the fireball to... Here we go. Kotetsu's really strong on the ground. He doesn't do super hot in the air. have that really nice dive kick, though. I think it's pretty cool that all the bosses have custom throw animations for being thrown by the different characters. And there we go, I beat Maui without losing a life. Let's give myself a few extra credits so I don't have to worry about it later. And we're on to Centaur. I really like this stage a lot. Like, it's difficult, but it always feels fair. It's probably the closest to fighting like an actual person. My cat's attacking something. I'm sure you can hear her making tons of noise back there. Over. I think it's really cool that the game gives you 2 lives for each continue. Alright, we're gonna go with Anne or Eagle. We'll go with Anne. She also has a fireball, but she can only throw hers from the air. Once again, you can throw it in 3 directions. She's got the... Every character actually does have an air grab. Hers, I find, is the easiest to land. She doesn't have a dive kick, but she does have that flip kick. I guess I should take this time to talk about the controls, actually. It's a 3-button setup, light, medium, and heavy. You don't have a separate punch or kick button, it's just the 3. She has another special move that's really terrible. It's a mashing move, kind of like Chun-Li lightning kicks. I'll show you on the next stage. But the hitbox is only about half the size of the actual graphic, so it's not nearly as easy as it should be to hit with it. It's really terrible. This is one of my favorite stages. Let's try that again. Oh, come on, let me do the dadgum move. Man, he is just gonna interrupt me every time I try that. Alright, we'll try on a different boss. Or we'll try it now. There we go. You saw how he was blatantly in it, not taking any damage. It's not a good move. As evidenced by the number of times I got knocked down just trying to perform it. But here's this boss's gimmick. He switches forms or switches places with people. Luckily, they all do share a health bar. I'd normally be doing a lot better against this, but I lost 3/4 of my health just trying to show off her moveset. Okay, he switched in the background. I've never seen him do that before. I got grabbed instead. Every character has a couple of air combos they do. If you hit with the enemy, they will freeze in place, so you can... Well, let me rephrase. Your character will freeze in place, not the enemy. I really like Anne's design, actually. I think she looks pretty cool. I don't like the fact that she looks like she's wearing a pair of panties on her head, though. I I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. Oh, we're on to my least favorite of the regular bosses. I absolutely cannot stand fungus. I plan on, well, not plan, but I expect to get probably 2 game overs on this, to be honest. He's just super cheap. This isn't even his final move. Oh, thank you, Anne. I absolutely wanted you to do that while I was mashing to get out of the dizzy state. The stage does have really good music, though. I'd like to get into the crab. I've never seen this attack before. That was new. That wasn't. There's the first game over. Alright, well, on to our last contestant, Eagle. I've only been able to figure out one of his special moves, which is this, not the slide, everyone has that. Still not the slide. There we go. That dashing uppercut that got me knocked out. Eagle, please stop doing the slide. There we go. It does an absolute ton of damage if you can land with it. Or not land with it, but land it. For some reason, it's a typical Shoryuken motion, like in Street Fighter, but it really, like, it likes to do a dash first, and I don't know why. It's a solid move if you can pull it off reliably, but it's the hardest uppercut I've ever had to do in a game. I actually do like fighting games quite a bit. I've never understood how that teleporting move works. She's got the manliest bro. Puts her head down. I might not get that second game over. I'm finally putting the hurt on him. Nope, he went into powered up form. There we go. Finally, good golly, I just do not like that stage. Like, I just find fungus to be the most irritating thing to fight. And he spits out the blue orb of fungus for some reason. I don't get the significance of that. It's a neat death animation, though. And we're on to the last of the regular stages, Diablo in China, who is a thunder demon of sorts. I really like the way some of the enemies are drawn in this, like the centaur, and Rainy especially, I think is just beautifully drawn and animated. But I'm not a fan of Diablo's aesthetic. I just think he looks kind of silly. I just think he's really cheap. Like, not fungus level cheap, but definitely cheap. That was my fault, I missed time to go. Whenever he, you can actually hit him above his head when he's doing that. That's a second move. I have no idea what the motion is for that, though. I'm curious about that now. Well, I'm not gonna find out right now. So like I said, after the third death, I am going to be sticking with my favorite, and that should have been pretty obvious. She's just really solid all around. She's got a pretty terrible special move, but... Or not the Shooting Star, but the Thunder Flash, which I will never ever use on purpose. Yeah, that does cross up. You have to block in the opposite direction. Possible to get a hit with an AI loop. It's not easy though, and it usually lasts for a couple repetitions. And the one thing I hate about her is I always end up accidentally thunder flashing when I get knocked dizzy. Nope, not gonna let me do it. Oh, didn't work that time. There we go. And Diablo has been Diablo-defeated. Hey, can we just pretend I didn't say that? Alright, well, on to the final stage, which actually has, like, a little bit of an actual stage to it. You fight enemies and progress and things. Also, I can suplex missiles. Also, it has this totally sweet music. Alright, enough appreciation of the music. Most enemies die pretty easy, which I actually kind of like, to be honest. It kind of gives them a chance to pile them on. And it really makes the bosses stand out. There are 3 bosses in this level, and this is handily the most difficult one. I don't know if I hate Fungus or Ducker more.
My name is Mr. G.
But it's basically completely random whether you hit or get hit. There's no tells, there's no real pattern, it's just... Yeah, see, I got grabbed. I got grabbed again. I'm trying to grab him. No, please never Thunder Flash again, and I wish you didn't have that move. Like, I'd be totally satisfied with just a single special move. Like, it's just so awkward to try to fight this guy. Like, I'm trying to grab it right now, and it's not working. I will be genuinely surprised if I beat him without needing to continue. I've only done that once. Yeah, I saw that coming. I do think it's kind of cool that the bosses can reflect. I don't like the fact that, like, almost every one of them can. It kind of takes away from the idea of actually using the special moves that you've got. Like, I don't agree with that. There we go, sweet. And Ducker has been defeated. On to the next stage. On a side note, those arrows on the floor, the red and yellow ones, I thought they were pizza the first time I played through. I was really confused why there were random slices of pizza there, like in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Also a little happy face made of gears and an arrow, just scrolling by. Danger high voltage. I like the little spider enemies in this part. Oh! He surprised me. Usually they don't dash that early. Alright. Kudos on you, Mr. Spider. The bikers, I'm not actually sure I've ever taken damage from one, but it's really cool being able to grab their tires and do that. Like, I just love all the little touches in this game. And on to Robo-Ape, who has one of the coolest themes in the game. Also the best posture. You were not supposed to jump forward, man. I really wish he would stop being off the screen. A little bit of trouble today. He's not normally this evasive. Like, I'm really surprised at how much he's dodging. Usually he's pretty reliable to hit. Just play keep away from him, get it, and now don't stay next to him. If I had done a triple combo, that would have finished him. Here we go. Got him anyway. Go, and... Yeah, Robo-Wave is a really fun fight. It's got great music with the, grunting in the background, good dynamic fight. And with that, we are on to the final boss. And things in the background are exploding because raisins. Gonna be fighting Cosmic Tank. On a side note, that little, the little glare in the front corner of her platform always makes me think it's a letter because it's the same color as the lettering. Cosmic Tank is really not that difficult. It's way easier than like Ducker. I dashed forward trying to break the dizzy state. But she's got pretty easy tells. She doesn't block much, although that actually, I never realized she could block. This is the first time I've ever seen her do it. also has a great theme. And now we get into the cheap boss phase. Which you'll see. Yeah, there's literally no way to damage her without taking damage. Because of the bombs on the ground. Oh, Bo, I cannot believe I beat her without losing a life. That is amazing. I'm so excited about that. So let's see, how many continues did I have? 4 or 5? So that would have been like beating the game on like $1.50 somewhere in that area. It's not a cheap game at all. Or I guess I should say not cheap as in cheap AI, but it is a cheap game to play money-wise. I don't know, this is a game that I really would have liked to have played as a kid. Also, man butt. But it's fun, it's simple, it's not the most polished game in the world, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's definitely, like, campy and aware of itself. And it's just a lot of fun. But, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off. Had a lot of fun, and hope to catch y'all next time. Later.